Hey guys, so today we're going to start episode 6. Meaning new deaths, new twilights, new tricks, new mysteries, new discoveries, all that good stuff, I guess. A beautiful glow shone in from the skylight over the grand cathedral. The place was somehow different from the way it had been during the witch's trial. The decorations had changed. The several pleasantly sparkling white ribbons that adorned it were thin like razors, but they trailed beautifully in the air. Flowers were arranged all over in a way that would make any place look cheerful. It was like how a single drop of impure water can spoil an entire cask of wine. Just the presence of those flowers, those ribbons, and the red carpet that ran down the center of the room made it hard to believe that this was the same place Ushirumi and Natsuhi had been falsely accused of a crime. It had truly become a wedding chapel. Love is generous, love is merciful. New people, huh? Love does not envy, does not boast. These words spoken by two demons who seemed to be in charge of this gathering were part of a ceremony for making an oath of love before the eyes of God. Of course, in this wedding celebrated by demons, there were no priests in sight. Instead, there stood the witch who controls miracles. In sickness and in health, yeah, a wife's true job is to be supportive in times of sickness. Isn't that right, Erica? Yes, my master. That looks good on you. What a fitting outfit for one who has conquered the bridegroom. Bridegroom. Hee 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 hee. I'm honored, my master. The bride standing on the carpeted path was Fruto Erica. The groom's face couldn't be seen. The bride's outfit certainly was a pure white wedding dress. Her veil represented both the white of God's blessings and the white of a demon's cruelty. A great many goat nobles, witches, and demons were gathered for this wedding. If only their heads had been those of goats, it would probably have seemed a very refined crowd worthy of this great cathedral. I'd expect no less of you, Burn. The stuff you managed to think up is always so twisted. A wife supporting her alien husband. Isn't that a lovely story? Oh, I bet whenever she said in her last video when she's not going to come back as a random guest or something, I bet whoever this person she's marrying is either Battler or George, because maybe they're trying to become part of the family. So anyways, that's just my theory so far. Anyways, let's get back to it. It suits you well, Erica, and congratulations to you too, Mr. Groom. At that point, Brooke still stared straight into the groom's eyes. Come on, who is it? It's either George or Battler. The groom didn't answer. His eyes were gray. His lips would mutter something from time to time, but no one could tell if the words meant anything. Hey, are you listening, you people? She spoke to the groom in the plural. Of course, there was only one groom, and of course the gray-eyed groom didn't answer. So even though you could hear her, could you answer? And Erica looks like she's like 12, so why is she getting married? Don't worry, okay? Battler's son told you. It's okay, I'll just take everything you are and trample it into the ground. Hee Ha ha ha, that witch girl sneered with an evil smile that smile that even a demon was shuddered to look at. Even that sneer provoked no response from Battler's dim eyes. People live for the sake of love. Therefore, today, you have fulfilled the purpose of your lives. Oh, great, the power to live, the power of love. I pray that the brightness of this day blesses these two for all time. Just give it a rest, our demons. What comes next? The couple will now make an oath of eternal love. After that, they will exchange rings. Battler's hand was a ring bearing the seal of the one-winged eagle, proof that he was the territory lord of this world. And on Erica's finger was a diamond ring that could not be shattered by any miracle. Diamond signifying an eternal bond. However, in Greek, the word diamond simply means unbreakable. Erica wasn't vowing to love Battler forever. She just wanted to rule over him as her eternal property. This wedding was being performed for the sole purpose of defiling Battler. Don't worry, I won't love you forever. After all, the point of the ceremony is to make you submit to me. Your heart will be shut inside an inescapable closed room forever, where I, Fruto Erica, the detective, and what your truth will command it. Your position as territory lord in your ring will become mine. Can't get... what was that? Can't get out. Whew, okay. Yeah, I'll bet you can't get out that close to him. After all, you made it yourself. You'll suffer in that room for eternity, and I'll remain by your side as your wife forever, getting to enjoy that look of anguish on your face all by myself. I'll defile you forever, Ushiramia Battler. Well, this is a strange turn of events. I want to welcome to this badass intro. It's always nice to see this at the beginning of every episode. Though it does use the original sprites, it is still indeed very nice. Now time to drink some of my apple juice. Oh man, this is a three quarts of apple juice, and I already drank over half of it in like an hour and a half, and I'm thirsty. This intro's still going on. Okay, we finally at the end of that intro. Don't get me wrong, don't get me wrong, it's nice, but we see it like every time that we start a new episode. Okay, that wind sound only means that's about to start. Okay, yeah, alright, let's go. Okay, all that could be heard was the sound of the wind, the sound of misfortune bringing sadness and unease to all who heard it. Slowly I came back to my senses. I finally regained consciousness on top of a bed with a firm mattress. Where was this again? I can't remember where this is, but I can vaguely recall that I must not remain here. The room was dimly lit. There was a light on, but it just made the darkness and eeriness of the room more apparent. There were no curtains over the windows, but it was too dark to see anything outside beyond it. As I squinted into the pitch blackness, it felt as though I could see the witch of the forest peeking back at me from the darkness, and I averted my gaze from the window in fear. I can't see or hear it, but I get the feeling that if I leave this room, I'll be bright and warm, and someone else will be there for me. I want to get to where everyone else is as soon as I can. Bad memories from when I was very young began to well up. Horrible, harsh memories of when I started dozing off during a family gathering and was put to sleep in some room I didn't know. I remember waking up there incredibly lonely and sobbing. I must not remain in this room. I just want to get out of here quickly. Once a thought crossed my mind, I didn't want to stay in the room a second longer than I had to. I'm scared. It's creepy. Where is everyone? I want to get out of here right now. I opened the door, trying to leave the room. A pleasant glow stuck into the crack of the door. As I thought the corridor was filled with the comforting light, I couldn't actually hear them, but I could sense that far away people were enjoying themselves. I'm sure everyone's gathered in the room across from this one. I've been shut up in this lonely, creepy room all alone. I should go quickly. As soon as I thought this, a merciless metallic sound rang out and the door refused to open any further. The chain had been set. I've always hated chain locks. You can open a normal lock just by twisting, but chain locks are built in an annoying way and I couldn't work them easily. So I've hated them ever since I was very young. See, even this chain is causing me trouble and I just can't get it undone. Why is this happening? I just want to leave this creepy room right away. Just on the other side of this thin door, everything is bathed in a warm light. I can't undo it. I just can't undo this chain. The more desperate I grew, the more that unsettling darkness seemed to be closing in on my back, and the more frightened I became. Then I finally noticed there's something wrong with this chain. Yes, there's a chain, but this is an unchained lock. This is just a chain stick to the door, preventing it from opening further. In other words, it isn't made to be opened. But what the hell is going on? Who would do something like this, damn it? No matter what I did, no matter how much I struggled, I couldn't pull up the stick or undo the chain or break the mechanism. The door was just a demon's mouth made to trick me into thinking it would open before crushing my hopes. Even so, if only I could just open this door somehow, I could get out into that pleasant corridor. This desire forced me to keep my hand glued to the doorknob. But it was useless. Both the chain and stick were firm, and no matter how much I clattered them about, there was no chance of the door opening any further. Even though I could see the pleasant hallway through the crack, I had no chance of opening the door any further. Maybe someone will come if I yell. Maybe the door can be opened easily from the outside. When I thought this, I tried to call to someone, but I couldn't make the words come out. I could mouth, "Someone come here," but no voice left my lips. What's going on? Someone come. Why can't I cry out? Help me, help me, help me, help me, help me. The mere fact that they say help me out loud is even scarier. But turning around, the witch gazed into the room from the darkness outside. It might be inside the room this time, standing right behind me. I'm frightened, I'm scared, I'm scared, I'm scared. Someone help me, someone help me. I can't get out, can't get out. Let me out of this room, help me. I'm scared, I'm scared, I'm scared. Let me out, help me, help me, help me. Sound like they were right, lady. Huh? Oh. Amakusa ran his finger down my cheek in an instant. I woke from the doze I'd just been in. I glared at Amakusa from waking me up from such a creepy way, but he just pretended not to notice. Where is this? It feels like a parlor in some dignified person's house, but I have no memory of this place at all. Where is this? And why am I... You still half asleep, lady? Yeah, sorry, where are we? Huh? Apparently he didn't expect me to forget something like that just because I wasn't fully awake yet. But once I agreed with him, why am I in some parlor that I don't recognize? The sound of the footstep from the Amakusa had mentioned had come right up to the opposite side of the door. I could hear conversing voices. Is that a woman? Judged by the coffee and snacks laid in front of me, I was the guest here. In that case, I better remember why I came here, or at least who it was I came to visit. Who am I? Ushamiya Ange. Who's that man standing behind me? Amakusa Juza, the man who used to be my guard long ago. He's now the bodyguard Okonogi assigned me. In that case, is this after an Eva's death, or when I've thrown off my pursuers on that journey to find out what happened 12 years ago? Is that how it went? Do I really have a memory like this? After a knock, the door opened, and the person I must have come here to meet entered along with an assistant. Oh, wonderful. Even after seeing her face, I can't remember who she is. Our sincere apologies for keeping you waiting. Hachijo Toya is here. That's a relief. The assistant introduced her to me first, and I finally remembered who she was. I thought it was a he. Excuse me, but who are you? It's getting late already. Ooh-wee. Okay, that's right. I am Hachijo Toya. The magazines were all talking about your book signing an event. Supposedly a mysterious male author showed up wearing sunglasses and a mask. Never thought you'd be a woman. What's the deal? That was just a double arrangement by the editing department. I was the helper standing behind him at the book signing. Now there's a shock. I haven't read your works, but I'll bet you're even more mysterious than your books. Readers will pretend to read books. They read them based merely on the name of the author and the brand, and they think they've actually read them. No matter what I've read in my books, they don't truly read anything. They just pretend to read so they can look smart and knowledgeable and keep up with the current fad. Why on earth should I expose myself to these people? Why indulge such trash? I see, it looks like you're Madame Hachijo, alright. The person really is eccentric. There's no doubt about it. This Hachijo Toya herself. Hachijo Toya is a mystery novelist who's become the center of discussion lately. It seems her books themselves have been highly praised, but it's her mysterious debut that has attracted so much attention towards her lately. Last year, she managed to win several different awards for exceptional mystery novels, offered by multiple large publishing companies, submitting each of her works under a different pen name. And after that, severely highly regarded anonymous works were discovered one after another to have been stories she had written in the past under false names, and her popularity soared as she herself became more mysterious in her books. Despite all of this, the author herself never appeared in public, and everything about her was wrapped in a veil of secrecy. However, just a few days ago, this author finally made a public appearance for a book signing, showing up the mask that covered his face and drawing even more public attention. And yet, apparently, that even that had been a fake. Given this person's radically unconventional track record, it was hardly a surprise to hear her casually insult her fans like this. I know quite a lot about you too, Ushiramiya said. The talk shows have been saying all sorts of things. I'm sure you have heard nothing good. Yes, nothing good at all. Apparently you employ and fire people on the whim, trying to resolve everything with money and care nothing for the law as long as you get your way. Yep, sounds about right. However, I happen to like intelligent people like you. Is that why you agreed to meet with me? Exactly. You're the only person who's managed to spot that. Itoikukuro Rego Namu is another pen name used by me, Hachijo Toya. That's actually quite impressive. Itoikukuro Rego Namu. Okay, I totally just butchered that. It was a pretty strange pen name. However, if you match Japanese syllables to numbers, you can read it as 110199660576. 11,019,960,576. This is the massive number is equal to 18 to the 18th power, 18 to the 19th in Japanese, Toya no Hachijo, or in other words, Hachijo Toya. Very well done, I was quite impressed. And in fact, I was so impressed I decided to let you meet me in person. Look at my mention, child of man. Her manner of speaking was extremely condescending. But perhaps because of her elegant manner, it didn't feel particularly irritating. This person has a sort of majestic grandeur about her, which made that style of speech seem almost natural. At least that's how it felt to me. In fact, it felt almost as though this was the manifestation of some noble being who would have no need to show herself before mere humans under normal circumstances. Since I'm not particularly a fan of hers, I guess it's a proof that her mysterious charisma really is nothing to be laughed at. However, I didn't come here to talk to Hachijo Toya, the mystery novelist. I'm interested in Itoikukuro Regonomu, the mysterious web author who only released her works over the internet. Around the Japanese parts of the internet, Itoikukuro is an extremely famous witch hunter. However, she is the big opinion leader like Professor Usuki. She's one of those message bottle forgers who are always the center of vigorous debate. Message bottle forgers are, as the name suggests, people who forge and post the contents of what purport to be mysterious message bottles detailing the events of Okajima incident. They claim they discovered a new message bottle and then post either a very similar counterfeit story or a new theory with their own interpretation of the truth, all of which is supposedly written by Ushiramiya Maraya. In doing so, they openly take on the name Ushiramiya Maraya, writing up the new bizarre tales as if they've been present themselves and they knew the truth, and they send those stories out into the newest sea discovered by humankind, the internet, claiming that this is the third or fourth message bottle. Although the first forgers were either simple pranksters or crooks trying to swindle collectors, eventually the people who claimed to solve the riddles of the message bottle tales reached a true start to appear, and they started creating original works of their own, third and fourth message bottles from Ushiramiya Maraya, so they have moved over to the riddle teller side. These people rewrote the tale of the witch with whatever interpretations they wanted, and once everyone enriched about parts of their theories to gain big followings on the net. Some of these creations grew to be so widely trusted that they were believed to contain some grain of truth. The more witch hunters only despise these people, calling them forgers, counterfeiters, or just witches. Though they claim to have reached the truth, they refuse to tell anyone and created fake message bottles as though testing everyone else. It was no surprise that the more straight-laced witch hunters were seriously annoyed by these forgers. However, among those who simply liked to entertain themselves with the occult fantasy of Rokujima, an extremely small number accepted these creations as literary works, glad of these additions to the mysterious tale. Itoku Kakuro was the most highly regarded of these forgers. And of the Golden Witch, I've read that one. That's one of a hell of a hobby you got there, killing off other people's families however you like. Did you come all the way here just to say that? I think not. Fun on descendant to show me a family. In her latest forgery, Anne, she killed off 7 members of family at least during the actual story. No, if you count Alliance and Banquet, the other forgeries she's made before now, then she's killed off most of my family in horrible ways over and over again. Of course, I want to complain. However, all her works are known for being both in a form and level of perfection. The closest tales to those written by Ushamiya Mariah herself, in particular, Ito Kakuro's first forgery, Banquet of the Golden Witch, managed to fit everything, including Ushamiya Iba's escape to Kuwadori, and people wonder whether this might be true, true story of Rokujima, and even made it onto the talk shows. So far, all of these tales have been nothing more than electronic text on the web. However, people will eventually realize that Ito Kakuro is actually Haji Toya. When that happens, they'll become the works of that bizarre Hachicho, and no one will think of them as mere fan creations. People will probably start wondering if this might actually be the third message bottle she found and released under the guise of a story she herself wrote. When that happens, these stories will probably seem even more bizarre and incredible. You're pretty cunning, aren't you? Why do you say that? You're doing this to make your forgery seem more mysterious and more credible. And what do you mean by credible? Once you gain credibility, your forgeries will rise to the level of truth. Rise to the level of truth? How foolish. Such a thing is unnecessary for my works. Are you saying that because your works are truth and not mere forgeries? Correct. They are truth, so there's no need for them to rise into anything. You aren't Maria Oni-chan. You definitely weren't on Rokujima on that day. So how can you be so absurd as to call this the truth? Hey, don't lose your cool, lady. Shut up. What makes you think I'm losing my cool? And Chef realized that she let her emotions get the better of her. She let her sigh and shrugged. Your reason for coming here is wasn't to yell at me for killing your family several times within my forgeries, correct? Hachijo had been smiling at Ange kindly but in a condescending manner, or else like a mother might watch over a very small child. Ange realized that and was unable to suppress her irritation. Apparently, Amakusa could tell that Ange was getting worked up. He joked around with her for a bit so they could start the conversation over again from the beginning. The thing you came here to hear is the truth that I've reached, is it not? Why are you so sure that you've reached the truth? Because I've understood all the tales, and I'm asking you why you're so sure about that. Do you think the sun ever revolved around the earth? Hachijo suddenly started talking about the Ptolemaic theory. Ptolemaic? I don't know how to say that. Anyway, Ange was about to tell her not to answer questions with more questions, but she quickly realized what Hachijo meant. Humans used to support that blah 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 theory. However, that theory has been rejected in the modern age. Does that mean that in an instant that the theory was rejected, the sun stopped moving around and the earth started revolving around the sun? Of course not. The truth doesn't change based on what humans believe. Then, right now, your denial of my truth means exactly the same thing. The idea of the idea of heliocentrism was proposed by several scholars before Galileo. However, it was hard to objectively prove that theory using scientific techniques available at the time. Even so, the then changed what the truth was, and yet it moves. So you're saying that the truth is still the truth, whether you can prove it or not? Correct. In the future, when the full truth finally becomes known, people will look back and realize that I've already discovered it. Apparently, Anna just couldn't stand Hachijo's attitude. She kept getting irritated, and every time Amakusa would joke around until she settled down again. However, there could be no mistake that Hachijo was a genius and had used her extraordinary intuition to form a most interesting outlook on the events that occurred on that island. And that was why Ange had wanted to contact Kakuro and hear her views. Still, this meeting truly had been fortunate for Ange. She had been absolutely sure that Tokikuro was Hachijo Toya. She hadn't thought about the publishing company would have really contacted the author, and moreover, she hadn't dreamed that the mysterious last author would grant her an interview under such a short notice. The more she thought about it, the more she realized that the 7 to 8 events leading to this meeting made for nothing but short of a miracle. Yes, a miracle. After all, in almost all cases, I'd never been contacted by the publishing company, and when I leave for Nijima the next day. I leave for Nijima, they go to Rokunjima, and then give Onichan and Sekutaru stuffed animal. Huh? Why a Sekutaru stuffed animal? My memory of the future is all muddled, my head hurts. Hachijo says about showing Anne something good, rose from the sofa and headed for the study desk. When she turned her back on Makusa, asked Anne, who seemed to be troubled by something, if she was okay. Hey, Amakusa, how long have I been here? What? You've been looking weird for a while now. What's going on? I can't remember how long I've been sitting here. Are you still half asleep? That's not it. I mean, I was able to get an appointment with Professor Usuki, but the publishing company never got back to me about Itokikuro. So in the end, I was stuck unable to do anything that entire day, right? Huh? Amakusa, you went to get that large black bag, didn't you? That's right. Just before we left for Nijima, Amakusa and I parted ways just one time. He asked something about getting a weapon from the acquaintance of his, and we went to go get that large black bag. Was it that today? What am I talking about? I mean, didn't I go to Nijima and meet Captain Kawabata and inside the best shop? Huh? What? Something wrong? Did my confusion and such a thing make me sigh out loud? Even though Hachijo's back was to me, she slowly turned around and she smiled as she peered into my heart. No, it's nothing. Strange memories. Once I came in to understand, I tried to hide my confusion, but for some reason Hachijo had a strange glint in her eyes as though she could read my mind. How I have revived and killed your family several times within various forgeries, almost like a witch might. Reviving and killing them whenever you like, endlessly. Sounds almost like Beatrice, doesn't it? Yes, it does. So please follow the lead of all those people on the web and consider the possibility that I might be a witch. She took a thickly packed brown envelope out of a locked drawer. I appeared to be filled to the brim with pen or paper. Perhaps this was a manuscript for one of her works. The neat letters written with a fountain pen on the envelope spelled out the word Dawn. There was no forgery by the name of Dawn, which it must mean. And she could tell this was a new one. Hachijo's newest unreleased forgery, thrown out of the Golden Witch. For one such as I who knows everything and everything is boring. However, I don't dislike letting the ignorant read my works to see what kind of reactions they have, and so I want you to read it. You want me to read your newest work, which you created as the new Endless Witch? Correct, child and man, whether you resent it or admire it, you could help me forget my illness for a time. Let's put an end to this farce, shall we? Who are you? I don't remember ever meeting you like this. Yes, I did try to contact Hachijo Toya, but in the end I never got a chance to meet her. In other words, all of this is a falsehood. Whose piece am I this time? Sorry, but if you don't think you could damn Ujima in so easily, you're making a big mistake. Yes, I hoped you'd be this interesting. She finally could hold it back and burst out laughing. Gradually, the space around them seemed to be filled with a strange purple mist. Through myself seemed to twist and bend. Birkenstell's piece. Probably. Her figure also twisted, and after something that couldn't be described, it left for her form changed to become just what she had called herself, a witch. Or maybe she's not Birkenstell's piece. I don't know. Splendid. You did well to see through my veil. It seems I'm the type which is just so to cling to. You all have that same condescending tone towards humans. Figured you were rich right away. The novelist sitting on the sofa was nowhere to be seen. Even Angie's bodyguard, who was supposed to be around at that times like this, was gone. There was like a non-human figure relaxing in a large ornate rocking chair. I find you truly intriguing, child of man. Your charming nature is the perfect medicine for my boredom. Yeah, well, I don't see anything charming about this. Why am I alive? Was it I killed in a pretty nasty way for breaking the rule about revealing my name? To be honest, I did doubt that those people would just let me go easily. What kind of farce shall I be forced to go along with this time? I really don't care. I'll just do whatever I can within the bounds of the role they gave me. Whether I could help Odin-chan. Of course, I understand. Even if he wins, he'll never come back to me. Even so, I'll struggle on. I'll make sure Odin-chan comes back to the me of that day. No need to lose your temper. I'm not asking you to be a piece. Then why did you summon me here? Don't tell me you want me to read this new story or whatever it is you've written. That is exactly. They don't want you to be my piece. I have always been a mere observer, and I have no intention of sticking my neck into their game. I don't get it. What is it you want from me? Be an observer for me, an observer of the fragments Beatrice has woven. An observer? I don't really get it, but no deal. In the past, I observed the fragments through Battler's eyes. However, now that he has succeeded the position of Game Master, he is not a suitable observer. I am following this tale with true and earnest intentions. It would be such a waste to observe it through the eyes of Battler as he is now, like reading a detective novel backwards. Only Chen is the Game Master? What on earth are you talking about? You must have no clue what's it all about. You want to know, don't you? I want you to know, too, what kind of tale will Battler weave now that he has taken the position of Game Master. Furthermore, I wish to search for the truth Battler reached as part of my own mental journey. My illness affects me gravely. If I do not think, I cannot even keep my heart beating. So, you want me to read your new picture book aloud to you? You might as well interpret it that way. In exchange, you will also be able to take part in your own journey of the mind. I do believe that even you have yet to reach the truth. I think you want to continue the journey to find that truth. I don't owe you anything. Do not push your luck. I can be lenient at times, but such cases are rare. Angela didn't reach the truth either, though she knew the game was little more than a toy for the amusement of those witches. She wanted to resume so that she could follow the tale and close it on the king called truth. I might explore the tale for the truth, to find the truth for myself, but I don't know no obligation to read it out loud until the end for your sake. Understand? Angela was willing to read the story aloud, but she could quit any time if the switch made her mad. She was in effect warning the witch not to annoy her. Of course, she could call it a picture book, but to me it is the only medicine for a fatal illness. I cannot take that medicine without you to assist me. In other words, it's a mutually beneficial arrangement. So you're telling me to read a book until you fall asleep. In exchange, you'll let me read it too. Is that right? Precisely. If you are willing to accept, I shall ask that you become my reader for a time. Well, it's nice to get my own title, but you really want me to do this is to read books, right? Becoming my reader means the same as becoming my familiar. In other words, what is done against you will be done against me. I will not permit anyone to disrupt my only interest that is being read to the rest of Beatrice's tale. I will not let Burkestall in the Delta or even Beatrice force anything upon you. And in which you seemed to have almost divine qualities spoke to her, spoke both quietly and forcefully. There was no threat in her words. However, even so, it was clear that she was on a different level than Birkenstock and the other witches, and had not to be taken lightly. So you offer me protection if I agree to read your book? Of course, what I want for you is to read aloud to me. I will not spare any who attempt to stand in the way of that. If my attitude seems arrogant to you, allow me to apologize, child man. It may not seem so, but I am speaking to you with the utmost respect. Yeah, probably. Even that witch like Stahl's speech feels like it's got to be the most respectful thing he said in the last few hundred years. When you're reading a book, do you tell it thank you very much before flipping through the pages? I guess it is like that, I understand. Just by agreeing to have a conversation with Anne, she was showing an incredible amount of respect and willingness to compromise. Anne shook, but also she nodded to show her consent. Sure, I'll be your reader. I'll get that you showed a ton of respect just by asking for my consent first. You understand well, child of man. My name's Anne, not child of man or whatever. He, very well. As proof of my respect for you, I will acknowledge your name. For her acknowledging human names was like acknowledging the names of all the leaves scattered across the ground. So acknowledging Anne's name was a miracle, and it was immensely good fortune. From this point forth, Ushiramia and will serve as reader and Miko to the witch of theater going, feathering Augustus Aurora. Until you finish reading, I shall bring calamity to all who attempt to hinder your task. When the witch of theater going, feathering spoke this, and was wrapped in a bright light. Anne didn't feel any particular change herself, but she definitely had been given something that only non-humans could sense. It signified that from this point forward, Anne would be the witch of theater-going subject. That didn't mean that Anne would gain some sort of special power, but at the very least, it probably meant that anyone wanting to cause her harm would first have to take on feathering herself. Your name is pretty long, sounds like the Roman person from the history books. What should I call you? No, those not familiar with me call me Augustus Aurora. After all the respect you show me, it's only fitting that I respond in kind. I'll call you Feathering. Any problems? None at all. For an alien witch as myself, even being called by my first name will be an experience to be treasured and pondered over, child and man. I have a name. It's Ange. Even conversations like this are pleasant every once in a while. Ange, my Miko. Miko, I don't know. Ange accepted her role. She would observe the story with the witch of the theater going. The curtain was rising on the sixth tale. Ooh. I'm definitely going to have to take a very break here in a second. Okay, I need a few minute break. Come on, let me pause. Okay guys, I'm back. It's raining outside. Midnight and it's raining. Nice. I love this kind of weather at night. Yeehaw. Okay. At one time only, Beato and our fellow witches had gathered in the smoking room to chat. Now, however, an unusually large number of people were present. I wonder what kind of game Battler's going to show us. I don't care what it is, as long as it's fun enough to relieve my boredom as I crush it. Leave everything to me, my master. I will perform to my fullest to give you the results you desire. Yeah, you better. I kept making strange faces all last game thanks to you. I hope I don't start getting wrinkles from all that. There's no need to worry. The beauty of my master's face is without peer, no matter how wrinkly it may get. It's rare to see burn in such high spirits. Beatrice game really is something else. How sad is it that the master of this game board is no longer with us? A tiger dies and leaves behind its hide. Looks like Beatrice died and left behind her game. Even though chess still exists, no one knows the name of the person who invented it. Oh, you're right. Yeah, poor game inventors. When I think about Battler silently has kept us waiting, hasn't he? Is he still setting up the sixth game? Gertrude, how have Lord Battler's preparations progressed? Please allow me to speak. Know that he will be finished very soon. If he's kept us waiting this long, he must be pretty confident in his play, and he really humiliated me in front of my master last time. I'll defeat him no matter what it takes, and you in particular, make sure you don't screw up again. I will meet this challenge with all my strength. The previous game master, Lambda Delta, had confirmed that Battler understood everything about Beetle's game. However, in order to prove it, Battler would have to run this game by himself and carry it to the completion. In other words, if Erica could crush this game with Battler, she would in fact wipe away the dishonor of the last game. Though Erica was chomping at the bit to get started, it was taking Battler quite some time to show himself. At that time, my swarmical butterflies popped into existence and took human form. When the shape of that familiar dress, everyone immediately realized who it was. Beatrice, huh? Oh, look, it's Beatrice, son, and I thought you died and disappeared last time. The one who died last time was Beatrice, the player. This was probably just a piece, Battler's piece. Even if she is a piece, it does not change the fact that it is her. Beatrice gave an elegant curtsy as she appeared. The simple inches was so vastly different from her usual high-pitched laugh that it made the long-awaited start of the sixth game feel even more ominous than it otherwise would have. Father will be here very soon, and I ask that you wait for just a short while longer. Ha! Father, what the heck? Is that the new spin this time? Normally, had Beato started talking in an unusually polite manner, should also use the word father, presumably referring to Battler. For an instant, everyone was stunned into silence, but they quickly realized that this was setting up some kind of theme, and they grinned. Beato wasn't the type who would keep up this kind of act for long. It would probably fall apart in a few seconds, leaving her cackling rudely at everyone. Erica, who was itching for a fight, went for Beato almost at once. I can't believe that the incompetent Battler started reached the truth of your game. I'm sure Father understands it quite deeply. He really is good at this sort of thing. Still, you're pretty lucky. If Battler hadn't become the game master, you wouldn't have arrived again. You really got the luck of the devil, don't you? The luck of the devil. Well, either way, I'm going to pay you back in full for last time. You're just one of Battler's delusions, so I'll erase every part of you and knock you down into the abyss of oblivion. I too cannot allow you to such an easy victory. I look forward to having a good, clean fight. But at this point, I didn't even realize that something weird was going on. There was no doubt about the face that dress and her hair was all Beatrice's. However, her expression was different. Even though she had Beeto's face, Beeto would never show anyone an expression like that. Who are you? There was a heavy silence. Then the Delta spoke for everyone there. At first, Beeto weren't smiling. He had blank expression. However, when she realized that the mood had gone suddenly stiff, her expression finally darkened and she hung her head. Who are you? You appear to be Lady Beatrice, but are you not? Even Deleanor was forced to ask despite the rudeness of the question. That was how much this woman who appeared to be Beeto was not. Am I somehow different from the Beatrice everyone was expecting? What are you talking about? Wait a second, don't tell me you have amnesia or something. I was only born recently, so I have no memories at all. However, I will study hard in order to become the Beatrice you all expect. Beeto, I thought I told you to stay in your room. Battler's voice came out of nowhere. His tone was very slightly cold. Beeto's expression looked like that of a young girl being scolded. With a swirl of gold butterflies, Butler appeared. His dignified bearing and appearance were fitting for the ruler of this game. However, his expression was gloomy. Okay, guys, I'll be right back. Sorry about that, guys. I just had to screenshot this picture on Steam here, because I have a good dude on my Facebook friends list who's been posting a lot of Umineko stuff lately. And we was talking about when Battler got the cape and whatnot. So, yeah. Okay, however, his expression was gloomy and his gaze was directed at Beeto. Go back to your room. You aren't supposed to be here. I just want to help you however I could, Father. Go to your room. He spoke both softly and forcefully. Butler didn't leave her in a room for debate. Beeto hung her hand curtsied as she prepared to leave the room. Also, yes, what is a father? My name is Battler. Never ever call me by a different name again. Yes. Beeto melted into a cloud of gold butterflies. This is the first part of the tale. Battler was as the game master. The witches all assumed they'd gone forward with some flashy big developments. So this was all completely unexpected to them. Their mouths were still hanging open. This is a pretty weird take on it. This, pardon me. Please forget what you just saw now. I don't know if you're playing dumb, but this is all just part of your plan, isn't it? You're scheming to give us the wrong impression like enough wind and such strategy, aren't you? Is there something wrong? Don't worry about it. It has nothing to do with you people. I see. Guess it doesn't matter then. Okay, Battler. Starting the new game right away. You kept us waiting for so long it's got totally boring. Sure, let's start the 6th game. Erica, YouTube Burkett style. This will be my tale proof that I've reached Beatrice's tooth. Lemna Delta, please watch this game until the end as my former game master. Sure, looking forward to it. What's the title? Dawn, as the Dawn of the Golden Witch. Sure, if I talk about when there's sun that goes below the horizon right away. Of course, my master, I'll drag it back down for you. At least your name is since it's good, Battler's son. I'll give you that much. I'm glad you like it. Then let's get started. This 6th game will now begin. Battler solemnly announced the start of the game. Compared to his fired up attitude at the end of the previous game where he and Erica had sworn to settle everything next time, he was extremely quiet now. And Beeto seems to have changed a lot since we last saw her. I'm surprised too. I don't have a clue what's going on. I don't get why Beeto's alive in the first place. I just finished reading a second ago, but at the end of the previous tale, then she died just before Battler reached the truth. There are two kinds of death in this world. One of them is when a piece is taken from the game board, such a death exists only within the bounds of the game, and these lives can revive over and over again each time a new game begins. That's why the witches are so merciless when it comes to taking those lives. To the witch players, the lives of those characters who appear in the game board are no different than pieces on a chessboard that take other pieces that get taken. After all, these chess pieces will be set up again when the next game starts. Mariah Secretary is a prime example of these. Secretaro's Oni-chan's piece, yes, that makes sense. In the game board that represents inside of Oni-chan's head, Secretaro certainly does exist and is a piece that is always by her side, though he's nothing more than a stuffed animal in the real world. On Oni-chan's game board, he is no less of a piece than any other. But I wonder, if you were a piece in a witch's game, it should be possible to revive him easily, right? But Oni-chan wasn't able to revive Secretaro in her world. That's because she lost that completely unique stuffed animal that was his vessel. Because of this, the conditions for that piece's existence were violated, and it became impossible to revive him on Mariah's game board. The only reason you were able to revive Secretary on the game board was because you once again satisfied the conditions for its existence, correct? True. Mariah Oni-chan was only unable to revive him because she had lost the stuffed animal that was his vessel. Like the rest of my family on Beeto's game board, she hadn't needed a vessel for him, but she should have been able to revive him as often as she wanted. I get it. It makes sense that Secretary was wanting Chin's piece. At least as long as his vessel was okay, he could have been revived over and over again. Correct. As long as his vessel is safe, he could be revived over and over again. That's what the life of a piece is like. That's the first kind of death in this world. What's the second? That's the death of being outside the game board. To continue with the Secretary example, this would be like Mariah's death. You mean not her death as a piece, but the death of the real Oni-chan, right? Not necessarily. Loss of the interest or concern will have the same effect. When Mariah outgrows playing with stuffed animals, Mariah, the game player, will die. It's as quick as easy as turning on the switch on TV when you get bored of it. I see. In that case, Beetle, the player, completely gave up on winning during the last game, so she died and vanished. Which means if Beetle ever comes back, in that case, she's got a chance of defeating Oni-chan. That means she's got back to life, right? Logically, that is true. She's the same for humans, witches, and even gods. If they lose interest in the concern, they can die at any time, and if they regain that interest, they can revive at any time. However, though, the concept of time does not exist in the world of gods, and they can revive whenever they want. The time shoots like butt and arrow in the human world, and it isn't so easy there. That's true. Skipping school for one day might not be a problem, but if you skip for 3 days in a row, it might be really hard to convince yourself to go back. And what if that's stretched out for a month, a year, a decade, or 1,000 years, like in the world of witches? I see. If you skip class for that long, I mean you're dead socially, and after being dead that long, not only would you be unable to catch up on all the missed in the world at large, you would lose any motivation you might have had when you left. So even though you'd be alive, it would be fair to say that you died once. You would never be able to regain the self that you once were. It would never come back to life. Beato lost any chance or hope of winning. Even though she knew this, she pretended not to, and kept on fighting for many, many games. So Beato will not return. Her hopes were crushed. She spent all of the willpower that she might have used to regain the will to fight. Therefore, that Beatrice will never revive again. That Beatrice which you just sat around the whole time with empty eyes in the 5th game must have been her corpse. She managed to remain on the game board despite it all. But then even that corpse was wrapped away. If Pito had been the game master at that time instead of letting the adult of the game board itself, it would have vanished at that moment and everything would have ended. Come to think of it, Beto started to lose the will to fight back near the end of the 4th game. When Beto loses the will to fight, the world of this game disappears. However, the witches wanted to keep playing in this game aboard the world, so long the Delta found Beto in that place with that cursed shackle. She used that shackle to fix the game board in place to prevent it from disappearing. Even if Beato did lose the will to fight, in chess this would be the equivalent of removing the set time limit for each turn, making it endless. However, simply having the game endlessly pause on Beato's turn would cause the witches to die from their illness of boredom. That's why Lambda Delta took the position of Game Master. Starting him, Beato's existence was no longer of the conditions necessary for the game's existence. That's probably why the shackles binding her to the game board were released. And that explains why she disappeared in the 5th game. Oops, okay, I'm back. So, when Oni-chan managed to reach the truth, it was one game too late for him to tell Bito about it. The fifth game was a form of charity on the Delta's part. She merely showed Battler some mercy as a witch of certainty, acknowledging his strong desire to reach the truth no matter what. How can you call that charity? It's just those fickle witches killing time. Let's get back to the point. So that means the weird Bito isn't a player Bito. She's just a piece of Bito. True, if that's the case, she would eventually become the Bito everyone knows. I imagine this is the Bito that Battler wants. What do you mean he wasn't satisfied with just a doll? When playing with dolls, one could project the personality they most desire onto the doll. However, since you are acting out of their part and nothing unexpected can ever happen, you cannot hope for any unanticipated happiness. In the human world, there's nothing so boring as a pre-established harmony. That's why, though a doll could become a person's best friend in the world, people eventually get bored and outgrow him. Oni-chan only wants the real Bito. He couldn't bear having a doll that only acted like Bito. A Bito born as Battler's piece will probably move according to Battler's wishes. That's only natural for a piece. Pieces move however their players tell them to, and they can't do anything else. I see. What is it Oni-chan wants? So what's up with this weird Bito? Battler might be trying to revive Bito in the truest sins. That is the never-dying dream held by children of man. You just used to have to say that was impossible, that Bito will never revive. However, that doesn't mean that it's impossible for Bito to be born again. However, have you forgotten? I believe that Bergusel herself revealed Bito's true form at the end of the first game. No, I remember. She says something about how Bito exists as the incarnation of a rule. The information began to be accumulated based around that rule, and in the end, it took the form of the witch known as Beatrice. If that pattern follows once more, the same Beatrice will be born again, and perhaps one would call that a resurrection. In other words, that weird Bito is an egg, or maybe a chick. That interpretation is probably accurate. In short, this Bito is a chick who might grow to become that Bito. And that means this pure and lovable kid will eventually grow into that screwed up crazy witch. In other words, that Bito is a baby version of the Bito we all know. So just like how no person is born evil, the newborn Bito isn't evil either. Even though she really is a different person. If you measure her by her root, or perhaps her soul, then maybe you really could call this a resurrection. However, this reality can't possibly be easy to accept. Even though she may be technically be Bito herself, she is also without a doubt a different person, and that what she acts would make anyone feel as though it's out of place. However, how entertaining hearing you read aloud is far from boring. I thought you didn't really need someone to read aloud for you. It looks like you already know everything. I only reached that thought because I engaged in a conversation with you. My thoughts are more numerous than the stars in the sky. I only appear to know everything to a child, a man like you. However, without you here, I am nothing but a weak, sickly person, even without even the power to think. If you just said that in the first place, I would have agreed to read for you a lot more easily. And my mood has just happened to improve. Don't get an overswell impression of yourself. Your lack means less to me than a leaf one has lost after you sit it as a bookmark. Please keep reading already, is pretty much what you're trying to say. Here, far from boring. You really do make an excellent Miko. Feathering rocked back in a rocking chair and looked up at the ceiling, laughing as though the conversation itself was pleasant for her. Angel slowly figured out how to deal with this strange witch. This person was also bored. It's not uncommon for a sick person who's far from being bedridden for a long time to start acting rebellious. On the other hand, they may also get a little bored of being treated kindly all the time. She may want to be shown respect for her superiority, but it's probably more interesting for her when she's spoken to rudely. What a coincidence. That's exactly how I used to be. Anyway, from what we learned in the fourth game, there's no doubt that there's been some kind of antagonism between Bito and Oni-chan in the past. Learning about this Bito might give us a key to finding the truth. It does seem so. It has caught my interest as well. Let's read it to her tale too. Oh, sure, as you wish, my master. When Ange raised her hands like a conductor, the bookshelves in his bizarre study responded. Once again, several books floated out and began to swirl around Ange. Kenzo studies the room belonging to the master in the human world, so the study in the world of non-humans belonged to the master of the game board, and was a place where he could look down upon the humans. Therefore, one could hardly be blamed for mistaking the imposing paroled man in the center of the study for Kenzo for falling for a second. But it wasn't Kenzo, this was Battler, the one who had taken up the position of Game Master, becoming the new territory lord of this world. Around Battler was a swirl of glowing fragments sparkling like the night sky, and on the floor was appeared to be a red magic circle, and outside her it would seem to be nothing more than an incomprehensible geometric shape. But the Battler who stood at the center, it was the outline for a new tale. A new line grew across the magic circle, following Battler's gaze. At the instant it connected with the complicated symbol, the entire magic circle flashed brightly. So how does it look? It's splendid, Master. The sixth game is complete. As Battler wiped his forehead and finally relaxed, Genji, who was standing behind him and watching over his every move, nodded deeply in response. I always thought being a game master meant you could make the tale however you want, but this is seriously harder than I thought. You must write up multiple tales and make the inner and outer sides of the story match. Though truly you have displayed such a skill, it's hard to believe that this is your first time. I believe even Erica Summer will be satisfied with this game. Well, hopefully it matches that great detective taste. Still, I've got to honestly respect Beato now. I could hardly believe that she managed to make tales that complicated and do it so easily. Far from it. Beatrice Summer also worried and worried, racking her brain over various contradictions each time she created a tale. She was constantly battling with logic errors. That is when the two sides of the tale do not meet, creating a contradiction. When this happens, it becomes a fatal violation of the rules, known as a logic error, and the game board will immediately collapse and be destroyed. It is the greatest and worst form of error that the witch can make, and one which must always be avoided. So Beato got close to bumping into those many times in her games. She fought with him every time she created a game. I believe it grew even more difficult for her as you became a more formidable opponent. So do you think this game I've made is good? Yes, of course. Beato hasn't woken up yet, has she? It's been a while since her body was formed as a personification of the rules. Is she still not awake? After remaining silent for a while longer, Genji answered. She woke up 3 days ago. You were concentrating on the construction of the sixth game, so I decided to wait before telling you. My sincere apologies. Oh, really? Yeah, but she's still drowsy after sleeping so long. I really wanted to show her my game. No, it's more than that. I have to show her. I need to tell her that I've understood everything. Butler's face broke into a smile. There was no trace in his expression of hatred he had once felt towards Beato for murdering his family. In a way, that was the final riddle of the fifth game. Yes, when Battler reached the truth, he was the great change in impression of Beato. So should we assume that there really was something between Onichan and Beato that he forgot all about? However, Battler suspected this in the fourth game and asked Beato about it. According to the tale, this was denied by the Red Truth 6 years ago. No person called Beatrice existed for Battler. We can read this as saying that Beato did not exist 6 years ago, or it could be simply mean that she had no connection to Battler at the time. However, either way, Battler did not visit Rokkenjima at all for the next 6 years. October 4th, 1986 should have been the first time Beatrice and Onichan met. If so, why is there already some kind of antagonism between them? I don't have a clue what that means. The sin of Ushimi Battlers, which Beato took Battler to task for the fourth game, might give us a clue. The result of that might have been Beatrice herself. The result of Onichan's sin was Beato. That almost as though Onichan created the witch called Beatrice himself. That almost as though Beatrice was Battler's piece. Huh? Battler sinned 6 years ago. Because of that sin, people died. The one doing the killing was Beatrice. If you consider the possibility that everything is connected to Battler's sin 6 years ago, then the one who created Beatrice was Battler himself. I thought it was sounded almost as though she was Battler's piece. I don't get it. Even Onichan's sin in some ways, crime couldn't have been anything close to murder. If this huge massacre was in retaliation for what he did, then that's totally out of proportion. Beato killed our family, Dad, Mom, Onichan, everyone. I can't believe that Onichan's sin was anything deserving of that. That whatever sin depends on the person measuring it. Even if the sin was so light that Battler might have forgotten, could have been so serious to Beato that she hated him enough to massacre his whole family a full 6 years after the fact. Well, even I find that to be excessive, and more importantly, if she were a mere person like that, I would find it hard to accept that Battler would act so friendly towards her after discovering the truth. Feathering's observation was an interesting one. In a past game, Beto clearly said that Oni-chan's sin 6 years ago was the cause of this two-day tragedy. I still don't know what kind of sin that was. However, he figured out what it was at the end of the fifth game, and he even apologized to Beto, even though she was the witch who had massacred his entire family in retaliation for his sin 6 years ago. Uh, 6 years previous, Battler apologized to her. Of course, it was the player Battler who apologized, not the piece of Battler whose family had been murdered over and over again. Even so, Battler must have remembered something at the end of the last game that made him feel like apologizing. Does that mean the 6 years does this mean the sin from 6 years ago is hidden somewhere in the tales we've seen so far? I have already formed a certain theory on that matter. Oh, let's hear. I cannot tell you yet. I want to enjoy being the only one who knows the answer for a little while longer. Well, then I guess I'm done reading for you. Real, we can't have that, can we? Have some patience to read a bit further. My theory is still nothing more than a guess. Once I'm certain of it, I'll tell you. Okay, my master. I actually do want to hear what comes next after all. Just what kind of connection do Oni-chan and Beatrice have with each other? Understanding that they will probably give me a massive clue towards finding the truth of this world. After all, because he remembered that he was able to reach the truth. Beatrice. Welcome, Master. Beatrice, I'm not waiting for you. This way, please. This place is a villa set aside for Beatrice's use. It was a scary good sight for her only, built so that she could spend her days without being affected by the outside world. My heart began to race. I'm so glad that she was able to revive and that thing's okay. Beatrice is a personification of the rules, so even though she was destroyed once, it's possible for her to be reborn again. Butler had quickly succeeded in reviving Beatrice's body, but he had trouble summoning her soul back. However, during her time he spent immersed in the creation of the sixth game, she had woken up, and this had happened 3 days ago. Butler let himself be led into the dining hall. The dining hall had been set up for his and Beto's use. It existed so they could enjoy some black tea while having conversations that were only possible now that they had reached all of the truth. I wanted to tell Beto that I found the truth. Butler couldn't hold back his excitement over this miracle he'd been granted. The miracle of Beto, waiting from the dining hall to hear what he had to say. How is it, Beatrice? Same as usual? Is she doing well? Oh, yes, she's doing quite well. She's been waiting for you all this time, Master. Oh, yes. She's in dining hall. Is she eating or something? Oh, that's okay. Doesn't matter either way. Oh, you'll be surprised. Beatrice. When he swung open the doors to the dining hall, Butler was greeted by a wonderful sight. Though as the food laid out on the table wasn't particularly sensational, it was arranged beautifully, and a champagne bottle stood there waiting. Then the person clad in that familiar dress with the beautiful golden hair bowed deeply in greeting. Beatrice, you have my sincerest gratitude for giving me this form. Come on, don't worry about that. I'm so glad. Beato. Butler rushed up to Beato and hugged her tightly, just to make sure her body wasn't just mist or an illusion. I solved your riddle for you, but then, before I could tell you about it, you went and disappeared. I am right here. I will not disappear. It's okay. You can stop talking like that. I'm not going to ask you for anything in return. Anyway, I want to apologize, and I want to talk with you. I don't even know where I should start. You do not have to be... You don't have nothing... blah, blah, blah. You have done nothing that you need to apologize for, Father. I'm glad you just be the service to you. Beato? Beatrice was born for your sake, Father. Please let me support you. And Father, congratulations on completing the sixth game. I told you to stop talking like that. You're creeping me out. Do you find this style of speech displeasing? Please forgive my rudeness. Well, I don't find it displeasing, but it's not like you. I guess I like the way you usually talk best. Beato smiled vaguely. The Battler probably looked as though they were both smiling at an unusual way she was talking. However, Beato's smile was vague and uncertain. After all, she didn't know how she was supposed to talk. Anyway, Beato, just what kind of joke is this? Don't tell me that the great Beatrice someone decided to cook for me. Well, when I heard that you completed the sixth game, I wanted to see if I could prepare the modest award to congratulate you. Oh, Beatrice, someone really worked hard to make this. I didn't even need to lend a hand at all. No, I didn't. The food set on the table really was modest and expertly made. You could tell by looking at the Beato, who wasn't particularly skilled with cooking, had given it her all. However, signs of discomfort and irritation were beginning to appear on Butler's face. What's going on here? Well, she said, Beatrice-sama wishes to congratulate you. Sweet sweats were starting to strip Akuma-sama's forehead. She was also feeling uneasy when he noticed Butler realized that it was just his imagination. But Ito turned her back to Battler and stuck a corkscrew into the champagne bottle. Then she showed it to Battler. Father, congratulations on the completion of the 6th game in the hopes that you will prove victorious over your longtime rival, Furudo Erica. Pop. Presented with the champagne bottle, and it sounded like that anyone would think that the cork had been pulled out. However, it wasn't the cork, it was the bottom of the bottle. The high-quality champagne that Bito had procured splashed out all over the floor in her dress. Then the same sound repeated several more times. Each time one of the plates on the food on the table was knocked into the air. Father, did you make fun of food displeasing? Who are you? I am Beatrice. I was born for your sake, Father. And that's not right. Huh? Who is this? This isn't Beato. And anyway, don't call me Father. What's going on here? What is this? Didn't I revive Beato? Genji, what is this all about? My apologies, but that is indeed Beatrice-sama. Are you kidding me? How is this supposed to be Beato? She's totally wrong. A fake. No, this is Beatrice-sama. This is without a doubt Beatrice-sama, who's born in accordance with the rules of the game board. No, this is anything like Beato. Beato would always talk in that weird way and laugh rudely. And no, this is certainly Beatrice-sama herself. Then why is she talking like that? Why is she calling me Father? Beatrice-sama was only born a short while ago. It would be far too cruel to expect her to act as she once did so soon. Are you saying her memory hasn't returned yet? Master, this person truly is Beatrice-sama herself. However, she is not Beatrice-sama you know so well. What are you talking about? I'm the game master, right? Why can't I revive Beato? Beatrice-sama has revived. However, the old Beatrice-sama lived for 1,000 years. This Beatrice-sama, on the other hand, was only born a short while ago. If she appears to be a different person, well, that just can't be helped. Then how can I revive that Beato? Her body is right here. How can I revive her soul? If she lives the same 1,000 years life again, she should become the same Beatrice-sama she was once before. Are you telling me to wait 1,000 years? A person's personality is decided solely by their birth. It can be changed drastically based on how they live and what they experience. Do you understand? Even though she's the same Beato, she's not the same. I get it. Even if you had the two of the exact same person, they could change enormously depending on their upbringing. Even though they might be the same human to start with, their upbringing could change them so much that they quickly become two completely different people. Usually we use the term person to refer to a person, not their personality. However, since humans recognize a person by their personality, those two might as well be different people from a human perspective. That's so true. If that tragedy 12 years ago hadn't happened, this little lady of ours might be a cute girl who could smile without looking weird. That's rude. I'm plenty cute as it is. I understand. If personality is what makes a person in our eyes, you could probably say that a second personality represents a different person entirely, even if it inhabits the same flesh body. At very least, I'm a completely different person I used to be 12 years ago, and my family had come home 12 years ago, then their age that resulted would surely be a completely different person for me. Even a single human could become a different person. And in fact, depending on their upbringing and endless possibilities, they could become an endless number of different people. So just because it's Beato, that's no guarantee that she'll become the Beato that Oni-chan knows so well. And on top of that, Beatrice is a witch who lived thousands of years. The people who can die and be reborn in just 3 days, 1,000 years is such a huge amount of time. It seems you're quite a skilled reader. For most of my readers, it would be necessary to spend several hundred pages to explain how a single person can become a different person depending on their upbringing and time. Don't underestimate your readers. We aren't just reading. We read and we think. If I make 100 people read it, about 90 will be able to. However, only 50 will actually understand what it means. And not even 20 will actually think beyond that. And all I ask is that they think over it a bit. Nothing more than that. However, it seems that you are one of those precious 20 readers. That's why I invited you here, child, a man. It was seriously hard to like this Hachido Toyo person. However, though the forgery she had written was still in its first stages, it definitely felt as though it contained something very similar to the tales in those message bottles. Speaking metaphorically, one might call it a scent. It's an indescribably unique and stern atmosphere like a stuffy library. The Beatrice who wrote the message bottles and Hachijo Toya are different people, and yet this is the same scent as that tale. I see. This is why some of those curious witch hunters are so intensely devoted to her. Their key sense of smell is able to sniff out that familiar scent. Very well then, please continue reading. There could not be nothing more entertaining than watching your face as you glance over the words, that and speaking with you. I guess it's true that writers are always starving for opinions on their works. However, sorry to disappoint you, I don't have time to read all the way through this thick manuscript. More importantly, and yet you have plenty of time. Both the second hand and the pendulum on an ornate clock behind Hachicho have been moving the whole time. However, absolutely no time had passed for a while now. Only about 3 minutes have gone by since the time should enter the room. See, the time isn't one of your problems. No sort of time will chase you away until you finish reading. Next page, lady, next page. Amakusa badgered me to turn the page, so I returned to the world of the tale once more. Why does her tale have the same sin as Beatrice's, I wonder? Is it because she actually has reached the truth as she claims? Does it mean that anyone who knows the truth could create an endless number of message bottles? Is that how the cat box world works? I see. I guess she might also be an endless witch. In fact, maybe anyone who knows the truth can become an endless witch. Endless Tale created by the Endless Witches. The 2 days started on October 4th, 1986, where my family is being toyed with endlessly. I have to end it. I have to find a hint of the truth forms within the story in this Endless Tale. Man, I'm getting sleepy. It's like it's kind of getting close to 1 in the morning. What do you think, Beato? How's the 6th game I've made? Well, you're not the type to give me an honest compliment anyway. You probably say something like, not bad for an incompetent fool like you. Not bad for an incompetent fool like you. Now that I've seen what it's like to be Game Master, it's pretty clear. I wasn't the only one who had it rough each and every game. Creating a game was far from easy. I certainly never expected us to recognize each other's efforts like this. Creating a game was far from easy. I certainly never expected us to recognize each other's efforts like this. All wrong. This isn't Beato. Battler sat hard on the desk with the piece Beato showing her reaction. After all, Battler hadn't ordered her to react. It would be easy to revive that Beato as a piece. However, it would only move according to Battler's wishes. Having a conversation with it is so different from talking to himself. The Game Master could summon any kind of piece. He could move those pieces any way he wanted, reigning as an absolute god. However, for that very reason, they were just pieces. That made it unbelievably lonely and sad. You created many kinds of furniture as well as several tales in the past. When I saw that, I was sure you was having a great time doing it. But that's all wrong. You were unbelievably lonely. It must have been such a relief for you having an opponent like me who could actually go against you. Yep, I'm painfully aware of that now. That weird polite Beato really was she, wasn't she? The way you were 1,000 years ago. And yet, she's a different person. The way she looks just like you is what I really can't get over. I can't stand it. However, she is in a piece, so she could go against my will. That Beato is much more alive than a piece like you. I get that. But it's all wrong. This isn't you. She's a completely separate person, like a long-lost little sister or something. And that's why I just can't accept her. As much as he hated the piece version of Beato, Battler felt an even stronger dislike for the chick Beato. Even after a whole 1,000 years, she still wouldn't become the original Beato. Even if she were ordered to act like the original Beato, she would just be an imitation. This is very similar to a separate person, and definitely not Beato herself. So in the previous game, Beato really did disappear for all eternity. Even after becoming the Game Master, there was no way to revive her. Laugh at how pathetic I am. Yeah. Just give it a rest already. You're just an illusion. They won't laugh unless I order it. And who can't even continue to laugh unless I keep on ordering it? Just disappear. Okay, guys, I'm gonna be ending the video here. It looks like in the next video we should actually be getting to start the actual game next, hopefully. I was kind of expecting that we would start the 6th game in this video, but I know there was a lot of other stuff going on. So anyways, guys, I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.